What else we got here? Okay. It's been a little while since I worked on this. I gotta try to remember how it goes back together. I guess a smart thing to do would be to look at the other side, and it will probably tell me. Looks like we just got 2 bearings, a spacer. It's coming back to me now. I think I didn't buy that little spacer because they wanted like $50 for it or something ridiculous. And I thought that I would just make my own. So I might have to do that. Earlier this year, I bought these 2 New Holland hay rakes. Not that I necessarily needed 2 of them, but the guy was selling them together. The price was right, so now I've got 2. When I got them home, I knew that the 256 here was ready to go because like the day before I picked them up, the guy I bought them from was actually using it. And I knew that the other one, which is, what is the number on this one? It's different, I know that, a 260. I knew that the 260 had some bearing issues, and when I took this bat off to fix it, I realized that when one bearing went out, it caused the other one to go out as well, so I had to end up replacing both. And the rest is a story as old as time. The parts showed up, and I was busy doing something else, and long story short, never got this rake put back together, and this morning, that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna get this done first, then I'm gonna see where the day takes me. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. Well, the bearings went in relatively easily, so now I just got to make some new spacers for this bolt, and we should be able to just bolt this thing right back on. I took the bolt out of the other side so that I could use it as a template to measure this spacer here. They wanted, I'm not exaggerating, I think $50 or $80 for this spacer, or maybe it was for both spacers. Still, it's a lot of money to pay for something that you can pretty easily make. So it looks like we got 3/4 of an inch this way. Hopefully that's in the frame. And then 1 inch outer diameter. But lucky for me, I just so happened to have this piece of 1 inch round tube. It's 1/8 of an inch wall thickness, which means the inner diameter is 3/4, same as the bolt. Outer diameter is 1 inch, same as the spacer. That means that I just need to cut a little piece of this tube off at 3/4 of an inch and we'll have it. And the seam inside the tube is maybe gonna not make this easy. Maybe we can force it on there. Normally I wouldn't recommend just pounding the bolt through there, but I just know that this spacer will never come off again, so it doesn't matter if it gets stuck on there, which I'm sure it will. My other option would have been drilling the spacer out with a 3/4 inch drill bit to get rid of that seam inside the tube. But, you know, that would have been a lot more work than it was to just tap the bolt in there. There we go. Just like New Holland made it. Now I've got to duplicate this spacer that goes on the other side. This might be a little more difficult as it is sort of a weird size, but I'll see what I can come up with. This is the original spacer, and this is the one that I made. You can see they are different. This one is a smaller outer diameter, and it's not as thick as this one is. But after looking it over, I decided that the thickness this way, or the width, I don't know, what would you call that? But that is a lot more important on this piece than the diameter this way. Its main job is to just keep this dust cover ever so slightly off of the bat itself so that it doesn't rub and grind on it. So you could see with the homemade spacer on there, if I cut it right, it holds it off of there just a little bit. Oh, that didn't go well. There we go. I think this tire is a little bit low, and that's causing the rake teeth to hit the ground. So I can't give you a good freewheel spin like I can on the other one. But I can spin it and move it enough to feel that everything is tight and feels the way that it should. So I think it's fairly safe to say this is field ready. It's a lot more ready than it was. No pigs. What's the word? You guys gotta move. Watch out. Watch out. Man, Red. You're pretty big. You know that? Look at this guy. He's huge. Unfortunately, the ground is just a little bit too soft to pick up the tote bag with the LS and drive it over here and fill that feeder up all the way. And believe me guys, I wish that it weren't, because that is the way that I would much rather do this. And it's not like I think the LS is gonna get stuck out there because it's soft. It's the fact that the property that I have to drive in on, I don't actually own that. So I don't wanna rut it up, because the owner is generous with letting me use it as things are now, and I don't wanna ruin that. We've got a few days coming with no rain, and if it's sunny like it is now, then I'm hoping maybe, you know, after 2 or 3 days that I'll be able to get the tractor out there. But until then, I gotta fill the feeder like that. I'm over here at the ranch now with the little New Holland, and the goal is to get that feed wagon out of this corral. Normally this wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's pretty soft out there, and the tongue on the feed wagon has sunk quite a bit. In fact, I think it's on the ground. So yeah, it's probably gonna take some doing to get it out, but I need to get it back home. There's a little bit of welding that I wanna do on it, because I'll probably need it in another month and a half. So I want to make sure that everything is ready for me when I do need it. And I hope I have a D-ring in here. And I do. Look at that. Perfect. Well, I thought this was gonna be perfect, but the pin is too big. I need something that's gonna fit in the hole on this. I might have another one. Let me go check. And of course, I can probably accomplish what I need to do just with a chain, wrapping it up a bunch. And I know what I'm saying right now probably doesn't make sense. It will here in a minute. Sometimes I leave one. Oh yes, there is one on the end here. Let's see if I can get that. Now I'm looking at this one. I think it's the exact same size as the other one, so we might just end up using a chain after all. In the last video, I dropped off some barn cats here in the barn, and I haven't seen hide nor hair of them since I did. My trail camera ran out of batteries, so I'm not sure if they're on the trail camera or not, but I assume they're still tucked away in here somewhere. All right, that's not gonna fit either. Let's just get a chain. There we go. All right, let's go see what we can do. Now the question is, can I get this chain off of here? And it's looking like probably not. Jeez. There we go. Now we should get it. Haven't needed the feed wagon for a while, but I suspect that I probably will here in the next couple of months, and rather than wait until the day that I need it, I thought maybe I would get it fixed up and ready to go a little bit ahead of time. Trying to get better about that. Last year when I had this over at the winter pasture, something happened. I don't know what, I didn't see it, but the cattle must have been pushing on it around the front of the wagon, and putting all that leverage on the tongue jack ended up breaking it. In fact, now that I think about it, I might have not dropped the legs. I must not have, and that's probably what happened. So it's my fault, but you know, that's It's the way it goes. So I need to get this home and get that welded back on, because trying to hook this up to the truck without it is not impossible, but it is very dangerous. So I don't want to do that anymore. And then while I've got it back at the shop, I thought that maybe I would weld some sort of a plate or a frame so that I could permanently attach a orange triangle on the back of this thing, you know, for a slow moving vehicle. I had the one that I would clamp on, and that just didn't really end up working out that well. It would be better to have a permanent one, maybe mounted up high up here so the cows don't mess with it, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I think that's about it. Not too much needs to be done to this thing, but you know, it's like everything. It needs attention once in a while, so we're gonna do it. I mean, probably not gonna do it today, but if it's at the shop, then it's a lot easier for me to just do it. Well, these poor cows are just fighting over salt block crumbs there. We better get them a new one. Which reminds me of another job that I need to do, and that is I want to sort of enclose around that salt block feeder so that the water stays out, because they do go through that salt, there's no doubt about it, but every time it rains, it erodes a lot of it away as well. Alright, what do we got back here? Oh, we still got plenty. What you've been waiting for? Well, that looks better now, you know, and I do still occasionally see them biting at the salt blocks, like rather than getting the salt by licking, you know, that they're saying that's not enough, I need more. So they actually are trying to like gnaw on the salt blocks to get more salt. And I think what I'm gonna do, I've talked with the people at Redmond, and next year I'm gonna do loose salt instead of blocks, so it'll be a lot easier for them to intake more. So that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna try. All right, let's get this thing moved back home. Today I got the hay rake checked off, and the feed wagon is like half a check. It's here, and once it's here, it's a lot easier to get it done. So, tomorrow's another day. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.